Hello, welcome, and welcome back to Heretic Tarot. We are continuing on with our tarot messages by Human Design Profile. I snagged a post from Instagram from Jess Fields. I took a course from her a year ago. It might have been over a year ago. I don't know. Time is like, since the pandemic, it's like, I don't even know what year I did anything anymore. But anyway, of course, I will link her Instagram in the description below if you want to check it out. She posts a lot of great stuff on all things human design. So highly recommend. So of course it's a little blurb here, and then we'll get into the tarot message. It says, with a 5 in your profile, other people likely see you as the hero of their story. Don't be afraid to pick up the torch and say, hey, let's go this way. Just make sure the torch you are picking up is the one you want to carry. You don't have to be all things to all people. And with a 1 in your profile, your ability to master a subject is a gift to the world. You are naturally driven to become an authority on a topic. Give yourself time and space to learn through observation and permission to invest in your foundations, including home, career, knowledge, and relationships. Love that. Did that resonate? I feel like a lot of people, with the 5th line, you hear a lot of people use the word hero. And I think in the definitive book of human design, didn't it say like general or something? Like, we have this ability, because I'm a 5-1 also, where, based on the knowledge that we have, right? Like we can step into a situation and kind of take the reins for a little bit. But I also remember, a couple times they're mentioning about being a stranger of consequence, I think, was the phrase that was used. But also, recognizing when your contribution, the energy of your contribution has been resolved. You know that you have the ability to step in, pick up that torch and say, hey, let's go this way. And then, it's kind of like when your part in that is done, you pass the torch on, right? Because it's kind of like when we overstay, that's when there's more of a potential to be projected on, to end up getting burned at the stake, is one of the phrases that's used also, where people just kind of turn on you. You might have been through a couple different friend groups in your life for that reason, where all of a sudden, things change, right? Okay. And then, of course, that first line, thirst for knowledge and having a foundation of understanding. I just want to know everything about everything. I just don't want to read it. I'm not a big fan of... I'd rather somebody tell me. Okay. So we'll shuffle with a little more intention here. You might have seen it, you might not have, so that's why I'm mentioning it. But I did post a video a couple days ago explaining that I am going to be taking a breaky poo. That's what I call it. So this week is going to be the last week that I'm posting for the rest of September and more than likely October. I will definitely be back. I love that that popped out, the Ace of Wands, as I'm talking about it. There was this other reading that when I was talking about it, the Wheel of Fortune popped out, and I'm so glad because honestly, like the anxiety in my head about it, like I'm doing myself a disservice, you know, like how dare I want to take a break? But then when I feel into my body, because we should not be listening to our heads, according to human design, unless of course you're a mental projector. And even then, anyway, you know, the head is a pressure center. It's not a center to be making decisions from. So when I just kind of let the energy sink into my body is like, okay, I roll. Don't listen to that bitch in your head. We're okay. Okay, so anyway, we're going to talk about you. We're looking for a message for our 5 wands. There we go. That was it. Okay. Here we go. We have the High Priestess. Okay. The Tower, the King of Wands, 7 of Cups, the Magician, and the Moon. And then the 5 of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Queen of Swords, 8 of Swords. Holy cow. Okay. Okay. This, this is a journey. For sure. Very interesting. So, I mean, of course, we'll start with the High Priestess. And look how many major arcana, like there's 4 major arcanas out here. Was there a lot of major arcana in the last reading? I'm trying to remember. I don't know why I'm trying to do that because memory is terrible. Anyway, not that it matters. It just, you know, I feel like the more major arcana are present, the more, what am I trying, like major of a shift, like things are changing. Okay. So we start with the High Priestess, which is gorgeous. I don't think in all of the readings I have done, I've had the High Priestess show up in the first position. I also haven't seen this King of Wands from this deck in any of the readings that I've used using this deck. Which is really pretty cool. Because I also, like, the overall feeling of this is that it feels like you're trying to do something that either you have never done before, like making decisions from a place where, you know, like not from survival mode, like not from, because it's kind of like you want a different result, right? And the decisions that you've made and maybe have made again or use the same formula for, it's like, okay, I want to try something else. That's how this feels. And I love too that even just the High Priestess coming out here, this guy coming out at all, is different. I haven't even seen the Magician come out in any of these readings. So, going back to the beginning here, we have the High Priestess. I see the High Priestess as being that direct connection to our star player. It's, like our direct connection to our soul, direct connection to our higher self. If you believe, of course, like in a different higher power, it would be that. But the High Priestess talks about, intuition. It's also, a bit of the like shadow realm. So, sometimes secrets, and I feel like this is also very much fifth line heretic, because we are considered to be mirrors, right? Like we're kind of mystery people because just by the nature of the fifth line, and especially having it on the personality side, like we lead with that fifth line, right? People don't see us very clearly. Not everyone, of course, right? I mean, but like, have you ever felt really seen by the majority of the people in your life, right? That's why, like, when I first read about the 5-1 profile, it resonated so much. I mean, I was like literally dropping tears. And that's part of the reason why I decided to do these messages by profile, because reading about the 5-1 profile is exactly what got me obsessed with human design, because it was the first time I had felt seen. All of that coming out of the High Priestess. Beautiful. And we have the 7 of Cups with it. The 7 of Cups talks about options. We can see, there's all these cups up here in the stars. There's a heart here, tree. I can't think of whatever the word is for that. There's a key, there's a lion, there's a moon there, glitter coming out. So it's like, there is a daydreamy aspect. Sorry. Oh my gosh. I also need to figure out a different type of setup so that my camera isn't like bouncing around so much when I come back. I apologize for that. Okay. So there is a bit of like a daydreamy, procrastinating energy that it's almost like, the shadow side of this card, speaking of shadow, right? But it talks about really almost like putting all your options on the table. And with it being cups, this is also water energy. This is Pisces or Cancer, depending on who you ask. So this is also water. So definitely very much in the feels here. But this is, how do you feel about the options that are available to you? Are there areas in your life that you're giving more attention than other areas? Is there something that could use a little bit more attention? Is there something that you're clinging on to for whatever reason, but the energy of the thing, like your emotion towards the thing, is gone? But again, it's kind of like you don't really want to like give it up. But these two together just kind of feels like what stays and what goes. You could have even been through an identity shift. Like, I mean, you could really have been digging into your values. Your morals, your, like, who makes you who you are? Who do you want to be? Right? Like, we have the freedom to decide that. Very, very interesting. And then we move on to the Tower. I'm always like, anytime the Tower comes out, which isn't really that often, but you know when the Tower shows up that something is falling away. There's change afoot, whether we want it or sometimes not, like whether we're prepared or not. And it's literally right in the middle of the reading too. So it's interesting because, we're talking over here, right, about like options, the self. And we have this Tower moment happening. And this would be saying that what is no longer serving is going to go, or it needs to. It could be timelines collapsing, whether you have closure on those timelines or not. They're no longer relevant going forward. And like I said, like making decisions from a different place. And, of course, we get into these decision-making patterns based on prior experience, right? I mean, that's all that we know. So it worked before, it should work again. Well, no, because, that formula got us like the same result. I mean, sure, did it work? Yeah. But maybe, it was like, well, it didn't work the way that I wanted to, or I wanted to even go past the result. So it's like making this decision to either even like researching, that fifth or the first line, researching different options, different ways of doing things, even just keeping your ears open, eyes open, to other ways of doing things. And sometimes it's a matter of not even making a decision quite yet, not taking any action yet. Like whereas in the past, something would happen, or you make a decision, you want to change something, and you would just start going, like again, based on an old formula. I always kind of use the analogy of a diet, which I just kind of hate. We don't diet on this channel. I'm pretty anti-diet these days, which is why I hate that analogy, but I'm going to use it because I feel like it makes the most, or it's as clear, I guess, as I can get it. But, let's say you want to change your weight. So you do so in a way that worked for you prior. However that is, right? But then it's like, yeah, I mean, that worked for, but now, right? It's like, yeah, that worked for me, like the few times that I used it, but here I am again. It wasn't something that was sustainable. It was a short-term fix. And now I'm looking for something long-term. So instead of, going back to that same formula, maybe you try something different. Something more sustainable. And whatever, like I said, the diet analogy is just the easiest one that came to mind. But I know we're talking about the Tower. I feel like I'm kind of all over the place here. So I hope you're just kind of flowing with me with the cups. So with the Tower, like I said, something is going to be taken out. People generally describe the Tower moment as being chaotic or destabilizing. I mean, it certainly can be. It does not have to be something so extreme as like, you losing your job or losing your car, or, it does not have to be anything like that unless that is the consequence of your actions, right? Like, but the Tower is only going to take out what no longer serves. Like I was saying over here, those things where the energy is just no longer, the Tower is going to take it out. It's interesting too, because, we have all these kind of options that are like in the stars here. I don't know if you can just kind of see that, but then we have this tree with all of these crows, all of these birds, and crows do signify change or symbolize. I'm curious what the book actually says about the Tower. I don't think I've ever, here we go. The energy of the Tower can seize our lives in a variety of ways. It could be losing your job, a sudden and an unexpected loss of residence. Okay. A bill that comes out of the blue that wipes out your savings. The Tower brings swift change that shakes up life as we know it. All the structures we have grown accustomed to, the security that we perhaps have taken for granted, are ripped right from under us, and the feeling of being flung into the air takes over. Oh, those are vultures, not crows. Don't they kind of look like crows? No? I don't know. It makes sense that they're vultures, though, when you look at the card. Duh. Okay. When the Tower appears in a reading, it may speak to a significant moment in your life, in your past, that caused a major disruption and, as a result, left you picking up the pieces. It may also arrive as a warning, a sign that something important in your life is about to change. Much like the train's rumbling before it arrives at the station, heed this warning as the train is on the tracks and will come on schedule. The message here is to be prepared. Tap into your intuition we have the intuition card there. You may already have an idea that changes are at work. That changes at work are on the way, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't get this, like I said, I don't really get the feeling that it's like this huge thing. I almost just kind of feel it's like, that you want to change something in your life. And it could just be the way that you have been just doing things. It can be that you want to change your career. It can be that you want to move. I mean, it can definitely be all of those things. It does not have this feeling of things being ripped from you, is basically like what I'm trying to say. And especially because we have the Magician here. So it's almost like, again, it's like this energy of clearing away what no longer serves so that the energy is available to create something new. This is really cool. Because, the Magician has all of the materials necessary to manifest something into reality. And interestingly enough, I wonder where the sword is. It might be laying on the ground. But there's a pentacle, a cup, a wand, and there's like this little sliver here. Like, I wonder if the sword is back there. Because technically, like on the Magician card, all of the suits are on there. So you have the energy of all of the aces in the Magician. You have the passion, the desire, the energy with the Ace of Wands to go after something. Your cup is full. You feel fulfilled and purposeful. You love the thing that you are going to be doing. And generally the Ace of Cups is like overflowing. So it's like you have enough to where you want to share with other people. The Ace of Pentacles, having the resources. Sorry, I keep burping, and I'm trying not to. I'm just trying to be discreet. So if I ever stop talking, I apologize. So yeah, with the Pentacles, like you have the monetary ability to go out and do it. And that could either be that, you know, like you have the money or the money shows up for you to do it. It talks about opportunity. The Ace of Swords is about new ideas, new perspective. It's the sword of truth. So it's like divine truth. You're acting on what is true for you. So again, you know, it's like this energy of clearing out what is no longer going to help. And then we have the King of Wands. Like I said, like this is the first time this King of Wands has come out in all of the readings. And the King of Wands is a leader. He's successful. Generally seen as, you know, an entrepreneur. Because it's kind of, you know, like the King of Wands needs like the space and the freedom to be creative. And of course, with it being a king, it's the highest expression of the suit. Knowing what you want to do, knowing how you're going to do it. You know, the creativity is flowing. And of course, I want to see what when I think of the King of Wands, I think of an older, sophisticated, perhaps worldly gentleman who has mastered the balance between being assertive and aggressive. He knows the carrots to dangle in front of a group that will get them energized and excited. He is aware of his voice's power and how to articulate his vision with a sense of drama so that all those within earshot become instantly intrigued. He is debonair, bold and outspoken, yet at the same time refined and in tune with the room. He knows how to turn on the charisma at just the right time to get what he wants. When you are paid a visit by the king, you are directed to call upon your creativity and channel the entrepreneur within. Your situation will benefit from adding some flair, from taking extra steps to show off your expertise. Your time has come to stand up, stake your claim, and be audacious, because when you present your talents to the world, the unique skills you bring to the situation, your originality will be rewarded. Again, with that originality thing, right? Like, it is not the size of the lion's roar that demands attention and respect. It is the emotion and vision behind it. Use the lion's energy when you need to create a commanding presence, when you need a little extra burst of courage to get up in front of a crowd. No one needs to tell a lion he is king of the jungle. He knows it deep within. And when you call upon his spirit, you too will be infused with his power, his grace, his passion for living. Yeah. And of course, I mean, that's gender neutral, you know. They're using, you know, male pronouns because, of course, it's a king. So anyway, I just want to say that. I'm sure that's probably, it goes without saying. But I love, you know, even mentioning the originality aspect, because I feel like that's what this is. It's like wanting to step out and be original, but also like it's because you know you have it in you. You know, like doing things the way that they've been done before. Like, you know, using a prior outline isn't necessarily a bad idea, but changing it up now And with the moon at the end, are you effing kidding me? Like, this almost kind of feels like if there were two high priestesses in this deck, it would have come out. And it kind of did, because, you know, the high priestess is ruled by the moon. That's what makes it a water card. That's what makes it the card of Pisces, because Pisces is the card of the moon. But also, like I said, it depends on who you ask, because it could also be Cancer. I guess my dog agrees. I don't know who he's barking at. So, you know, with the moon showing up at the end here, it's like stepping into the unknown. And that's what I mean. Like, you know, it's almost like you are building the like you're making the blueprint. You are creating a completely different outline. And it's almost like, you know, it influences other people to either, you know, kind of step into like their own power, or like, you know, I mean, this is a card of a leader. So, you know, it's like inspiring other people. Because it's also a king. So, you know, they do have, you know, the kingdom. They have people that look to them for guidance, for inspiration, for help, right? For courage, bravery, with the King of Wands. So, you know, with the moon here, because again, the moon talks about things unseen. It can talk about secrets. But it's more so like, of course, like I said, stepping into the unknown, but it's almost like I just kind of keep getting this feeling that it'll unfold as you are moving forward. It's like, you know, as soon as you take a step forward, the next step opens up for you, which can be scary. To just kind of trust that, like, yeah, that can be scary. And we have the Five of Cups at the bottom of the deck, which is that fear. You know, we have the Three Cups that have been overturned here. There's still 2 cups remaining, but it's like, you know, whatever was in these 3 cups didn't work. This is the card of like loss and grieving. And again, with it being cups, it's about our emotions. So, you know, just kind of feeling, and especially with it coming up after the moon, this is all of that fear. Like, what if it doesn't work out? What if that next step doesn't open up? We have the Queen of Swords carrying that Ace of Swords, clarity of thought. And it's also kind of like, she is going to fight these demons, because, you know, we have this other card of now we're in our minds with our fear and doubt and limiting beliefs and all of that, right? I love how there's an owl in here. There's this owl. But she is going to sift through all of this. Like, she's not going to get stuck in there. We have the Ten of Swords. So, you know, coming to a conclusion. The Ten of Swords, it's done. You know, all of the overthinking. It's like there's nothing else to consider. There's nothing else to really think about. And of course, you know, like sinking into your body. I mean, your strategy and authority is going to help you guide you through these things that are coming up, because I mean, your strategy and authority is going to help you determine like if an experience is correct for you or not yet. We have the Three of Cups, community, networking. This might just be, you know, the response that you get is going to be positive. We have the Six of Cups, which is the card of the past. It's nostalgia. You know, I like these elephants up here look like memories to me. We have the Five of Cups here, which look at that, right? So now we have this progression from the 5 to the 6. So we've worked through all of these limiting beliefs, all of the old feelings, right? We have this Ace of Cups here, which is also on the Magician card. And again, you know, I mean, you might just be being encouraged by somebody. We have the Strength card, the card of Leo. Determination. Perseverance, right? This is inner strength. Connecting to your heart space. The Two of Wands. Making decision on which direction you want to go in. We have karma here. Carrying, again, this Ace of Swords, the sword of truth. Things starting to balance out. Energy starting to come together with the Temperance card. And then we have the King of Pentacles, which is success. Again, monetarily. This is someone who's holding the bag, literally, like holding multiple bags. The Page of Pentacles, like a new, you know, this, it could be learning something new. It could be offering some sort of learning. We have the Judgment card behind there. I mean, like I could keep going. Like all of these cards are so good. Like what is coming up? This is, you know, transformations, shedding skin, evolving, growing, Ace of Pentacles. And even the Six of Wands behind that. Like there's so much success that's going to come out of here. And it's like literally right behind this little bit of mental mumbo jumbo. And I say little bit. I know that it's not. I know that it's, you know, those things that kind of prevent us from doing something. But it's like if we can, you know, it's kind of like I was saying at the beginning of this reading, right? Like if we can just acknowledge that those thoughts are going to be there and just be sure to be checking in with our body, with our strategy and authority and leaning into that and just bringing those doubts and fears, like just kind of, you know, they can drag their feet all they want to, but we're going to move forward. That's it. Like we're going to do this here. I'm going to leave it there. I know this has been a little bit longer. If you're still here, thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. This was beautiful. Thank you.